Have you ever truly considered that while most people spend their entire lives, working for money, very few of them ever actually learn how money truly works?
Mm.
It's a really striking thought, isn't it? I mean, we're often taught, sometimes implicitly, sometimes right out loud, that the path to financial security, maybe even freedom, is all about working harder.
Yeah, climb the ladder.
Exactly. Climb that ladder, get the promotion, save every penny. But what if that conventional wisdom, the stuff that's so deeply ingrained, is only like half the story?
Right.
What if the surprising truth is that financial independence might not come from what you do, but actually from a big shift in how you think about money, about its nature, its potential?
It definitely challenges our assumptions, the basics of what society tells us success looks like.
Totally.
And it's such a pervasive narrative. You're right. This idea that just pure effort, trading your time for a paycheck, automatically leads to financial reward down the line.
It's what we all hear growing up.
It is. Study hard, get good grades, work diligently, put in the hours, follow that set career path, and boom, security, prosperity, it'll just happen.
Right, it's supposed to be automatic.
And look, for some people, it does bring a certain level of comfort. But for so many others, it just leads to this relentless cycle, like a treadmill.
The rat race.
Exactly, constant work, but without ever really getting how money works, let alone mastering it. There's this fundamental disconnect, like Kiyosaki points out, between the effort you put in and the actual financial outcome.
So you feel like you're working harder and harder, but not really getting ahead.
Precisely, always chasing that next paycheck. And what's fascinating is how deep that belief system runs, It shapes our choices from when we're kids, often without us even realizing it.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
that's exactly why we're here today, why this deep dive is, I think, so important. Our mission here is to explore a really different perspective, one that, frankly, challenges that conventional wisdom about wealth head on. We want to pull back the curtain on some powerful insights, maybe some surprising truths that, let's be honest, most of us never learned in school.
Or anywhere else, really.
Or anywhere else. So welcome everyone to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
We're really glad you're joining us for this exploration into, well, a foundational text, a book that's genuinely shifted countless perspectives on personal finance and mindset.
It really has made waves.
It has. Today, our focus, our guide, is the celebrated and, sometimes controversial book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
A classic in the genre, for sure.
Definitely. Now, our approach here is a bit different. This deep dive isn't going to be us just reading the book to you or giving you a simple chapter summary you could find anywhere online.
No, we're going deeper.
Much deeper. Our goal is to really extract the core lessons, those fundamental mindset shifts, the absolute essential nuggets of knowledge that this book offers. We're aiming for that real understanding, those aha moments.
Right. And to make sure we get that deep understanding, we've really dug into multiple reliable online analyses and summaries, sources like 4-minute books, short form, those Blinkist-style articles that are great at boiling complex ideas down.
So you're cross-referencing everything.
Exactly. Our method is all about cross-checking these key insights across different sources. So if we see a principle pop up repeatedly in reputable summaries, we feel confident it reflects Kiyosaki's core message.
That makes sense. Fidelity to the source.
Absolutely. And it's crucial for us to be clear, we'll say, when something is presented as a direct principle from the summaries of the book versus when we might be exploring maybe a related idea or an interpretation that comes from those principles.
Got it. No putting words in his mouth.
Precisely. Accuracy and nuance are key. We want to give you a really solid, comprehensive, but still digestible understanding of these powerful concepts based on how they're widely understood and summarized.
Consider this your shortcut then, your way to get genuinely well-informed on these ideas. We'll dig up surprising facts, maybe challenge some assumptions you hold, and deliver those essential insights without the information overload. We know your time is valuable. Our promise is to simplify these powerful money lessons that, well, traditional education just seems to skip over.
It really does.
This is about giving you a new lens, a really powerful way to look at your whole financial world. Maybe question what you thought you knew.
It's about opening up possibilities.
Okay, so let's start with the man himself, Robert Kiyosaki. Who is he?
Right.
Well, he's a Japanese-American entrepreneur, an investor, and importantly, a teacher. And what makes his insights so compelling, and this comes through in the summaries of his work, is that he didn't exactly grow up wealthy.
No silver spoon there.
Not at all. He wasn't born into money, didn't inherit a fortune. His journey from, relatively humble beginnings to significant financial success makes the lessons feel more relatable, more achievable, perhaps.
Yeah, because he lived both sides of it. He understood the struggle of that conventional path before he kind of broke out.
Exactly. He saw it firsthand.
And his unique upbringing, as those analyses point out, really shaped his whole perspective. Having these two very different father figures gave him this incredible, almost compare and contrast view on financial education and wealth itself.
It wasn't just theory for him.
No, it was lived experience. He saw these two philosophies playing out in the lives of two men he respected. And that duality, that comparison, is really the bedrock of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It makes it more than just financial tips. It gets into the mindset, the philosophy behind it all.
Which brings us right to that core concept, the pillar of his whole framework, his two fathers. It sounds almost like a story, but it's based on his real life.
Yeah, it's a powerful framing device.
So first, there's the poor dad. This was his actual biological father. And by all accounts, a brilliant guy.
Highly educated.
Very highly educated, advanced degrees, respected professionally, worked in academia, followed that conventional, safe career path.
Did everything right, according to the usual rules.
Exactly. But despite all that intelligence, hard work, societal respect, he consistently struggled with money. He kind of represents that archetype we all know. The smart, hardworking professional who still faces financial challenges. Maybe he lives paycheck to paycheck, worries about bills, feels trapped.
The person who followed the standard advice but didn't get the promised financial freedom.
Precisely. He embodies that traditional advice.
Okay. And then the contrast.
Then you have the rich dad. This was his best friend's father. And the kicker is, this guy didn't even finish high school.
Wow. So lack of formal education.
Right. But despite that, he had this profound practical understanding of how to build businesses, how to accumulate wealth. He was an entrepreneur, an investor. He got how money worked, fundamentally.
He understood how to make money work for him.
Yes. And that contrast with the poor dad is just immediate and powerful. It slams home the idea that there are different paths to financial understanding, and maybe traditional schooling doesn't give you everything you need for financial success.
It definitely makes you question the value society places purely on academic credentials versus practical financial intelligence.
It really does. It forces you to rethink what smart means when it comes to money.
So these two figures, they're not just characters, are they? They represent these two totally different ways of thinking about money.
Exactly. Two fundamentally different philosophies, different mindsets, leading to vastly different outcomes. And as we dig deeper, it's that direct comparison, their beliefs, their actions, that gives the book its real punch.
It's not just about what to do, but how to think.
Precisely. It challenges your own underlying beliefs about money. Okay, so let's dive into that first mindset, the poor dad way of thinking. This isn't just one guy's ideas. Kiyosaki presents it as the conventional wisdom, the stuff most of us absorb growing up, from parents, teachers, society. It's like the default setting.
Yeah, it's the air we breathe, financially speaking. And based on, synthesizing those various summaries and analyses, the poor dad philosophy really boils down to a few key pieces of advice repeated over and over.
Like what? What's the main one?
The big one, maybe the biggest, is go to school, get good grades, find a safe, secure job.
Heard that one a few times.
We all have. And while it sounds sensible, maybe even responsible, it has huge implications. It prioritizes security, stability, relying on a job, on an employer as your main source of income.
So it trains you to work for money.
Exactly. You're trading your time, your effort directly for that paycheck. It's not about making money work for you.
Where did that advice even come from?
Well, think about the context. It really took hold in the industrial age, right? A steady job at a big company offered stability that previous generations maybe didn't have. Post-World War II, it became like the ultimate path.
Ah, okay. So it made sense for that time.
It did. And the benefits seem clear. A defined career, society approves, predictable income, stable family life. It feels safe. It's a known quantity.
And that resonates, doesn't it? I mean, that was definitely the message I got growing up. I bet a lot of you listening feel the same. But Kiyosaki says, hang on, look closer. What are the hidden downsides? According to his perspective, the limitations are pretty significant.
Such as?
Well, often a real lack of financial education beyond just earn a salary. You become really dependent on your employer. Your financial health is tied to their success, their decisions.
You're not in control.
Not fully.
Eh,
And maybe the biggest thing is the limited upside. Saddles have ceilings, right? You can get raises, sure, but you're still mostly trading finite time for finite money.
like that example you mentioned, Sarah, who did everything right.
Yeah, imagine her. Top grades, great job, works hard. She's comfortable, sure. But after 20 years, she realizes she's still just swapping 60 hours a week for her income. Feels trapped by the job, even if it pays well. That's the potential trap Kiyosaki highlights in that safe job thinking.
Okay, so that's the first tenet. What else defines the poor dad mindset?
The next big one, deeply connected, is avoid risks.
Ah, the fear factor.
Totally. It breeds this fear of trying things financially, starting a business, investing in something that isn't a guaranteed government bond.
Which all sounds prudent on the surface. Don't lose your money.
Exactly. Who wants to lose money?
Yeah.
But Kiyosaki argues, and this is key in the summaries, that this constant playing it safe paradoxically limits your opportunities for real wealth creation.
How so? That seems counterintuitive.
Because by seeking total security in conventional ways, you often shut the door on the very things, investments, business ventures that could lead to significant growth and independence.
So the biggest risk might be taking no risk at all.
That's what he suggests. Especially the risk of not educating yourself financially and making calculated moves. Avoiding risk means avoiding potential reward, often the biggest rewards.
Okay, that's a powerful idea. What else?
Then there's this sort of moralistic angle that often comes with it. Money is the root of all evil.
Oh yeah, you hear variations of that. Money corrupts, rich people are greedy.
Exactly. And if you truly believe that, even subconsciously, it creates this huge psychological barrier. If money is bad, then wanting it or having a lot of it feels wrong.
So you might feel guilty or uncomfortable even talking about it, let alone actively trying to accumulate it.
Precisely. It can lead to discomfort, maybe even self-sabotage when opportunities come up.
Yeah.
Think about how awkward people get discussing salaries or how some feel investing is somehow dirty or speculative in a bad way.
It's not always overt, but it's this undercurrent that limits how you engage with money.
Right. It shapes your behavior without you realizing it.
And the final piece of this poor dad puzzle.
It kind of ties it all together. Work for security.
Back to the safe job idea.
Yes, it reinforces that focus on the steady paycheck, the benefits package, the traditional signs of a good job, rather than aiming for actual financial independence or building assets that make money for you.
Trading time for wages, not building income streams.
Exactly. And this, as Kiyosaki highlights across the summaries, leads directly into that rat race idea.
Explain that again briefly.
Working harder and harder, maybe earning more money, but your expenses just rise to meet it. So you never actually escape the need to work.
Right. You get a raise, buy a bigger house, nicer car.
And suddenly you need that higher income just to keep up. You're running faster, but you're still on the same wheel. It's a cycle that's really hard to break.
So summing up the poor dad mindset.
Yeah.
It's well-intentioned, aims for stability.
Yeah. Usually comes from a good place, wanting safety.
But it often keeps people financially trapped, working for a living, not building lasting wealth, prioritizing income from labor over income from assets.
And it creates great employees, as the summary suggests, but maybe not great owners or investors who control their own financial destiny.
Okay, a clear picture. Now let's flip the coin.
Let's pivot. Big shift now to the rich dad mindset. This is presented as the complete counter-narrative, revolutionary almost.
A different operating system for money.
Totally. A mindset built for financial liberation, not just security.
Okay, so based on those analyses and summaries, what are the core principles Rich Dad taught?
The absolute foundation, maybe the most powerful idea, is learn how money works.
Simple but profound.
Isn't it? And it goes way beyond just budgeting or saving. It means deep financial literacy, understanding accounting, which Kiyosaki calls the language of business, understanding investing, markets.
So knowledge is the real asset here.
That's exactly how he frames it. When you understand how money flows, how businesses run, how investments generate returns, how taxes work, you can make smart strategic decisions.
Instead of just guessing or following generic advice.
Or blindly trusting someone else with your money. It's about becoming financially intelligent yourself, taking control.
Okay, foundational. What's next?
Building directly on that understanding comes the big one. Build assets. This is pure rich dad philosophy where it gets really practical.
And how does he define assets, simply?
The summaries consistently quote his simple definition. An asset is something that puts money in your pocket.
Puts money in your pocket.
Simple, right? but powerful. It shifts your focus immediately. You stop thinking about just buying stuff and start thinking about acquiring things that generate income.
Not the fancy car, but maybe the rental property.
Exactly. Or a business that pays you profits, dividend stocks, maybe intellectual property like a book earning royalties. The core shift is, instead of working for money, you work strategically to acquire things that make money for you.
Even when you're not actively working on them at that moment.
That's the goal. Like planting fruit trees is a common analogy drawn from his ideas. You plant assets, the business, the property, the stock portfolio.
And they keep producing fruit income over time.
Right. The more productive trees you plant, the more income flows into your pocket, ideally without you having to constantly trade your hours for it. It's about creating sustainable income streams.
Okay, that's a fundamental shift in focus. How does this mindset view money itself? We heard Poor Dad might see it as potentially evil.
Rich Dad flips that completely, challenges that root of all evil idea head on. Rich Dad teaches money is a tool.
Neutral, like a hammer.
Exactly. That's a great analogy often used. A hammer isn't good or bad. You can build a house with it, or you can cause harm. It depends entirely on the user, their knowledge, their skill, their intent.
So money isn't inherently good or evil, it's about how you use it.
Precisely. This view empowers you to use money strategically for growth, for creating opportunities, for solving problems, for building the life you want. You stop fearing it or being controlled by it.
You see it as an instrument to be mastered.
Yes. It removes that emotional baggage, allows for clear, rational, strategic thinking about finance.
Okay, makes sense. And that leads to the big one, right? The cornerstone.
It does. The idea that really sums up the Rich Dad philosophy, highlighted in every summary. Don't work for money, make money work for you.
More than just a catchy phrase.
Oh, absolutely. It's a complete paradigm shift. It means consciously deciding to invest your resources, time, effort, capital into things that generate passive or residual income.
Income that doesn't require your direct hour-by-hour labor.
That's the ideal. Building businesses, acquiring cash-flowing real estate, creating intellectual property, strategic stock investments, things that produce income streams semi-independently of your active work.
Like building a machine that keeps running after you build it.
Perfect analogy. The ultimate goal, Kiyosaki stresses, is to free up your most valuable resources, your time and energy. That leads to true financial freedom, not just job security.
It's the difference between being the laborer pushing the wheelbarrow versus being the architect designing the whole system.
Wonderfully put. That's the core difference.
So, wrapping up the Rich Dad mindset. It's all about financial intelligence, leverage.
Yeah, using your resources smartly.
Designing a life where your money is actively working for you, compounding, growing through strategic ownership and investment.
Instead of just being swapped for your time.
It's proactive, strategic, moving beyond just earning and spending towards building systems where your money makes more money, emphasizing ownership, control, sustainable income.
Creating a future where you have choices, where you're not totally dependent on that daily grind.
A fundamentally different approach.
So when you put them side by side like that,
Yeah.
wow, it really is the heart of the book, isn't it? These two profoundly different ways of thinking about money and life.
It's a stark contrast, two completely distinct roadmaps leading to very different places financially.
Yeah.
One path, the Poor Dad's, often keeps you working hard inside the conventional system. You're chasing income, feeling limited by salaries, needing that job security. It feels linear, like you said, trading time for money. Often feels like running in place. The other path, the Rich Dad's, offers a way to, well, transcend that system. It's about building a different future where you're not just playing the game by default rules, but actively creating your own financial reality.
You're setting rules.
Kind of. And these conflicting views, as Kiyosaki shows, they shape everything: your education choices, career path, how you save, how you view investing. Choosing between these philosophies really dictates your whole financial journey, your freedom, your time, your potential.
So it makes you wonder, doesn't it, as you're listening right now, which mindset does society mostly push? Which one feels more aligned with real financial freedom, the kind of life you actually want?
It's a really important question to sit with. No single right answer for everyone, but just recognizing the two paths is a huge first step.
Definitely. Okay, so let's bring this back to you listening right now. What does all this actually mean for you?
Yeah, the practical takeaway.
Well, first, it's probably fair to acknowledge that most of us, like Kiyosaki himself, were probably raised with that poor dad thinking pretty deeply ingrained.
It's in the schools, the family values, the culture.
It really is. It's the default. We were told, usually with love and good intentions, right? Go to school, get good grades, get a stable job, save your money.
The path seemed clear and safe. It's what our parents knew.
Exactly. But here's the crucial point Kiyosaki makes. We were rarely, if ever, taught how to invest that money wisely, how to build passive income, how to actually use money as a tool for freedom, for leverage.
It's like being given a car and told it gets you places, but only being taught how to drive it back and forth to work on one specific route.
Great analogy. You don't learn how to really drive it anywhere else, explore its potential.
And that gap in education, Kiyosaki argues pretty strongly, has massive consequences. He suggests the traditional school system, by its very nature, is set up to create good employees.
People who follow instructions fit into roles.
Right. It emphasizes compliance, rote learning. It doesn't typically give you the mindset, the financial literacy, or the practical skills to be an employer, an investor, an entrepreneur.
The people who create the systems, not just work in them.
Exactly. And that is the big aha moment for so many readers of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, according to the feedback and summaries. They realize financial success isn't just about how much you earn.
It's more about...
It's fundamentally about how you manage, invest, and strategically grow what you have, shifting the focus from just active earning to active asset building.
becoming financially savvy, not just academically qualified.
Precisely.
And, when that really lands, it feels incredibly empowering, doesn't it?
How so?
Because it means you don't have to be born rich. You don't need an inheritance to get ahead financially.
So what do you need?
What you need, he argues, is the right mindset and the right knowledge. It's about changing how you see money, how you approach it every day, understanding it can be your best employee if you know how to manage it.
It's a whole new game plan for money.
It really is. A new perspective.
Yeah, and that's why this initial exploration, this deep dive, is so important. Just changing how you think about money can potentially change your entire financial path and maybe your whole life.
It challenges those assumptions that might be holding you back without you even knowing it.
Exactly. It opens up possibilities for building wealth and freedom that maybe seemed invisible before because you were playing by a different set of rules. Rules perhaps not designed to make you wealthy, but to make you a productive cog in the machine.
It's about becoming a conscious architect of your finances, not just a passenger. Choosing the rules you want to live by.
Well said.
So, for anyone listening, maybe feeling a bit overwhelmed or thinking, is it too late for me? Here's some really good news. A core message from Kiyosaki. It is never too late to adopt the rich dad mindset.
Regardless of where you're starting from.
Doesn't matter. Starting from zero, already have some savings, whatever your background. You don't need a fancy finance degree. You don't need family money.
So what's the key ingredient?
The crucial thing, highlighted again and again in the summaries, is just that mindset shift. A willingness to question, to learn, to think differently about money. And that shift, that whole journey, can genuinely start right now.
Just by listening and considering these ideas.
Exactly. Questioning the conventional, opening your mind to how money could serve you.
Okay, so this is just the beginning then.
Oh, absolutely. This first deep dive, we've just laid the groundwork, introduced the philosophies, the core conflict. But there is so much more practical stuff to unpack.
We've got a roadmap.
We do. We have a clear plan for upcoming deep dives into the really actionable lessons from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you're serious about changing your financial picture, you really won't want to miss these.
So what's coming up specifically? What can people look forward to?
All right, you want the sneak peek?
Yeah, give us the highlights based on those core principles from the summaries.
Okay. Well, we'll dive deep into why the rich don't work for money. Really explore that whole idea of money working for you.
Getting beyond just trading time for dollars.
Exactly. Then a huge one, what assets and liabilities really mean. We'll break down Kiyosaki's definitions clearly, because understanding that difference is fundamental to his approach.
Assets put money in your pocket, liabilities take it out. Simple but critical.
Crucial. We'll also look at how the school system potentially keeps people financially stuck, exploring those systemic issues he talks about.
The perpetuation of the poor dad mindset.
Right. And then the practical side. Why building your own business or investments is key, moving beyond just the paycheck towards actual wealth creation.
Getting into the how.
Yes. And finally, addressing that big hurdle.
Yeah.
How you can start, even if you're broke today. Offering some first steps, regardless of your current bank balance.
So tackling that feeling of, I don't have enough money to start.
Exactly. We'll show that it's more about mindset and strategy initially.
Sounds like a great lineup.
We think so too.
Oh.
And we promise, each deep dive will be focused, clear, packed with practical ideas you can actually think about applying. Concise, but high impact. That's the goal. Empowering you with game-changing knowledge.
Excellent. So as we wrap up this first session, maybe a final thought for people to chew on.
Let's do it.
Okay, here's something to consider. If your current financial path feels a bit like that treadmill, like you're constantly chasing income, always trading your time, what one small shift in your thinking about how money could work differently for you might open up a whole new world? What if the answer isn't just working harder at the same thing, but thinking in a fundamentally different way about money itself?
That's a powerful question to sit with. Really makes you think. And hey, to make sure you catch all our future deep dives into these concepts from Rich Dad, Poor Dad, definitely hit subscribe or follow the deep dive wherever you listen.
Don't miss out.
And if this conversation sparks something for you, maybe an aha moment, think about sharing it with someone you know who might benefit from hearing this perspective. Let's keep this journey going together.